Changing Expectations. Written by KK Slider. Chapter 17. The Spina.
You are not authorized to enter the royal wing at this hour.
The royal guard next to the door said to Officer Katydid.
What are you talking about? I am scheduled to enter this hour every 2 out of 3 days.
The royal guard paused for just a moment.
The prince's lessons were cancelled due to...
The ceremony?
Katydid asked incredulously.
Who told you that nonsense? Step aside. I am mandated by the queen herself to continue the tutelage of the prince.
He wasn't, in fact. Chamberlain Eucharis had told him that lessons today were cancelled due to the ceremony, but Katydid wanted to see the prince immediately. Said Chamberlain was currently speaking with the top commanders of the swarm to organize the transition of power.
Now, step aside.
The royal guard, wanting to avoid the queen's potential wrath, stepped aside. Katydid wasted no time in opening the door and heading down the hall to Phasma's room. He raised his hoof to knock, but decided he didn't want to risk Queen Chrysalis overhearing from the end of the hallway. Instead, he opened the door. He saw Prince Phasma, now High Marshal, curled up on his bed. Katydid shut the door softly behind him as he walked up to Phasma. He stood there for a moment, watching the nymph's chest rapidly rise and fall with his breathing.
Phasma?
He called out softly. He froze, then slowly sat upright, looking at the ground.
Hello, Officer Katydid. I was under the impression that I had today off.
Katydid frowned.
You do, but Phasma, what's wrong?
Phasma sniffed.
You know, I'm your boss now. Isn't that weird? Chrysalis just put me straight right at the top of the military Oh, damn it! I don't know the word for that! What I mean to say is that she didn't put me in charge of a squad to have me practice leadership skills. She just put me right at the top. She hasn't even taught me any military strategy.
Military what now? Who taught you how to swear?
Phasma looked up at Katydid.
Chrysalis says she wants a commander, but she trained me to be a prince. I didn't even think I'd get this far, yet here I am. With far more power than changelings who have been in the swarm their entire lives. They've got far more experience than I. Why am I High Marshal?
No Ling has seen combat outside of the infiltrators, Prince Phasma. That's why you have this position. Getting assigned to the swarm just meant a cushy duty, filled with standing around. I don't remember the last time we had a breakthrough from the Underhive. Now, you'll make an army out of the layabouts I call equals.
Phasma tilted his head at that.
It's true,
Katydid says.
I bet if Chrysalis sent the swarm out right now, they'd just be that, a swarm. No tactics, no organization. Just chaos running rampant.
He shakes his head.
Against an actual military, we're hopeless. Only the infiltrators have any experience with combat, and that's mostly the critters they occasionally face out in the wilderness. Wolves, timber wolves, crocodiles, lions, mawwerps, sandworms, and so on. Sure, the swarm is trained to fight these too, but they only leave the hive on patrols. The last expedition into the Underhive was at least 100 years ago.
Phasma rubbed his muzzle.
Why doesn't Chrysalis get her hooves on equestrian strategies? Why does she want me, who has no experience or training in fighting or strategy, to lead the army?
It didn't take long for Katydid to come up with an answer.
I think it's because she believes in you. You have met every obstacle with a determination and zeal few changelings could match.
All I've done is take a few tests.
And
Katydid continued.
she's not alone. We all believe in you, and hope is a powerful thing. As pony as it sounds, hope can mean the difference in war. The Hive doesn't have much at the moment, Phasma. The only way to bring in more materials and goods is the Infiltrator Network, and that is already being pushed to the max on bringing back love and what information they can gather. You've been training all this time, receiving an education that is above what every other changeling receives.
I don't know how to fight.
Phasma retorted.
That will be solved starting very soon. Our lessons are to transition into more martial-focused ones as soon as possible.
Phasma sighed.
I'm the High Marshal with orders to radically reform the entire military because we need to conquer Equestria. We need to conquer Equestria because we need more food. So we need more food. And I take it we can't compromise other sectors of the Hive to get more? If that's the case, why is our Hive so far away from Equestria? Wouldn't a lot of logistical problems be solved by being closer?
You should ask Queen Chrysalis that yourself.
Was all Katydid could offer.
I will. In fact, I have a number of questions I'm going to ask.
That got Katydid's attention.
Oh, like what?
The next day, Eucharis woke me up as usual, and I made my way into Chrysalis' study. This had been my daily routine for every day I've been a nymph. However, when Queen Chrysalis entered the study, I decided to break tradition.
Prince Phasma.
Queen Chrysalis, before we start today's lessons, I have some questions I've been meaning to ask.
Chrysalis raised an eyebrow.
Very well, Prince Phasma. As long as this does not take too long. Ask your questions.
Best not beat around the bush, then.
Where are my brothers and sisters?
Chrysalis leaned back.
I had thought that you knew the answer by now.
Then let me rephrase. What killed my siblings?
She smiled.
Ah, now there's a question. Let me answer it with one of my own. Why do I hype your existence?
I had to bite back a joke. This was serious after all. In fact, I wasn't going to hold anything back.
Because you killed them.
Chrysalis frowned.
Infanticide? Do you think so low of me, Prince Phasma?
I did. I had feared the worst and that I would share their unknown fate. Hence me trying to clear this up.
Then I should clear this up, as you put it. I did not kill my nymphs.
When she didn't continue, I pressed further.
Then what did? And why conceal their existence?
I did not conceal their existence. I simply neglected to inform my subjects about topics they needed to know.
A lie by omission.
Is a valuable tool that you should use often.
Chrysalis picked up, making me snort.
How consistent of you. And you didn't answer my question. How did they die?
Chrysalis rode her hoof as she spoke.
Worm attack, trading accident, crushed by falling rock. The list goes on.
Those sound like awfully mundane deaths, considering the responsibilities and power you've given me.
Changeling royalty make the best leaders. Before you, My predecessors and I maintained a policy of status quo. That meant princes and princesses were put in charge of security teams. The other hive is very dangerous, you know.
You expect me to believe that you go through princes and princesses like a pony goes through toilet paper?
Come now, Prince Phasma. You undervalue your kin's worth. It's more like a pony goes to candles.
My expression fell flat. At least she's being forthcoming with answers. Far more than I expected. I guess I can understand that. Wait, wouldn't
an expedition to the Underhive be the perfect opportunity to have me learn and practice leadership skills? To test my mettle?
You're a High Marshal, Prince Phasma, not a squad leader. You are not as expendable as your predecessors. With the exception of dealing with noteworthy threats, the commander leads from the rear. You have a mind sharper than the fangs of any warrior I have encountered, Prince Phasma. I need a commander, not a drone.
How eloquent. I expected more. I don't know. Intrigue? Betrayal? Rebellion?
The Hive would never survive a catastrophe as tumultuous as a rebellion, Prince Phasma. Rebellion. What an alien idea. A pony dissents, a changeling obeys. Though, soon enough, ponies will obey too.
I sighed.
Right. As well as griffins, dragons. If they died like that, why not, I don't know, make them martyrs? They died protecting the hive and all that.
Because that would support the idea that we are mortal, Prince Phasma. A royal changeling is above concepts such as death. Best to let the memory fade, as well as the shame. I don't think I could tell you that none of this leaves this room.
I thought over what she said. Chrysalis is far more laissez-faire with this than I expected. If she was telling the truth, at least.
No vague threats, no ultimatums, no ominous one-liners. You are very happy today.
Shit, there's that creepy Fang smile again. That shit's nightmare fuel.
We grow ever closer to the promised day, Prince Phasma.
Ah, there's the one-liner.
Now that your curiosity has been sated, we will begin lessons. An important topic today, your final lesson in changeling biology. Love extraction.
Changing Expectations, written by KK Slider. Chapter 18, Morpheus.
Infiltrator Slight had clued me in on the basics of how to extract love. In concept, it was very similar to taking a disguise. Only, instead of imagining a form, you imagined what emotion you were extracting. In addition, you grasped the string of emotion, rather than the string of change. Simple concepts were required for the basic survival and functions of your species, after all. Evolution doesn't do over-engineered, just good enough. Queen Chrysalis spent a little time going over this distinction. Instead, she led me on a trip through the hive. Our destination was the storage section, specifically the secured storage where our food sources were kept. I'm going to meet my first pony, in a manner of speaking at least. Ponies, our number 1, 2, and 3 enemy. Unicorns, Pegasi, Earth ponies. I had been lectured for many hours on their danger, their importance, and their place in the world, beneath our hooves. now, I would get as close as I could to seeing this for myself. For better or for worse, I was going to see just exactly the future Chrysalis had in mind for the population of an entire continent. I wondered what I would see. Small cells with minimal luxuries, surely. Their diets would be poor, consisting of what we could grow in the farms in the Green Cave. Still, the captives would probably be eating better than the average changeling. It's not going to be pretty. Too many red flags for it to be anything good. But for the survival of our species, no cost is too great. Our species. There's no going back to being human, is there? I'm 100% changeling, whether I like it or not. These are my people now, my changelings. Their problems are my problems, and their suffering is my suffering. They put their faith in me to help them as their prince. Some are born great. Some become great. Some have greatness thrust upon them. Seems to be a case of the first and the third. We were close now. The ambient temperature of the hive was rising, and there were less changelings moving about in the hall. Those that were present were moving materials back and forth. Changeling concrete. I gotta come up with a name for that. The changelings just refer to it as hive gel, and that makes things confusing when our main foodstuff is also called gel. As well as said love gel, both transported in sealed jars. There were other materials such as the scant piece of paper, or a cart of different plants and lichen that had been harvested. As we passed the door labeled as Storage 012, my mind wandered to the first fang. Coxa will be back to working in one of these, if he is not apprenticed to an infiltrator. It should be easy to get in contact with him again if he's back here. Lacing 2. The Green Cave is not too far below the spire. I wonder what they're up to right now. Chrysalis stopped at a large door, flanked by 2 royal guards who saluted as we approached. Wordlessly, their smooth curved horns lit up with a green hue as they opened the doors for us. Immediately, I was hit by a wave of hot, stale air. Blue light filtered in stark contrast to the light green that most of the hive was awash in. The air was filled with sense of emotions. I knew one by heart, and others by study. The tang of happiness, the bitterness of anger, the zest of pride. I snorted air out of my nose to try to flesh out the sense. The air itself was a flurry of different tastes. I had no point of reference in my past life for this, but I recognized one taste. Love. My eyes became adjusted to the bright blue lights as we entered, and I saw the room before me. It was a large hive cavern, at least 100 hooves across and 200 deep. Periodically, large blue globs of moss hung from the ceiling, seemingly to almost drip from their hive gel mountings. Beneath each upside-down light was a sea of glowing green pods. Forms in each pod twitched, shook, or sat limp, their shadowed form revealed by the blue light. I saw the outline of ponies, yaks, sheep, cows, griffins, and more. There were at least 500 in this chamber, with the ceiling only visible in the spaces between the pods. The pods themselves had about a hoof of distance between each one. The room seemed to be half filled. Room for another 500 at least. The analytical part of my mind worked faster than the rest. Between the rows of the green pods, changeling drones filtered to and fro, checking on the status of each pod and its inhabitant. Occasionally I saw one carrying a large pot, sometimes weighing the changeling down as the drone buzzed down to the ground level where carts with pots were waiting. My stomach started to twist in on itself. So, this is what it looks like. What we must do to survive.
Yes, Prince Phasma.
Chrysalis spoke to me. I realized I had said my thoughts out loud.
This is the natural order of the world. We prey upon those beneath us.
This is what awaits every pony in Equestria?
I had to listen to myself speak, making sure my voice didn't crack.
Yes.
Was all she had to say. I heard a bang. Instinctively, I pressed the hoof to my heart. In the distance, a changeling was being berated for dropping an empty jar, which lay shattered on the floor.
There's no other way?
Chrysalis disregarded the question.
Our techniques have been practiced for millennia.
Why?
I struggled to keep my voice steady.
Have alternatives not been pursued? Our gathering could be perfected yet. Surely if the hive was closer, we would not struggle as much for food.
The hive used to be closer. We are the fourth hive dynasty, but our blood goes back to the first changeling king.
An unbroken chain? Then why?
Not the fourth dynasty, the fourth hive.
I whispered. Chrysalis picked up on it.
It took generations for our survival to reach this level of efficiency. We are hidden from the world. We are in a defendable position. We have a food supply within the hive itself. We are far away from the reaches of scrying spells. These ways keep our species alive. Come, my prince. It is time for your extraction lessons.
Her wings filtered out from their coverings and buzzed. She lifted from the ground, not bothering to look back at me as she took off. After a moment's hesitation, I followed. We flew to a pod near the center of the room where a changeling drone was waiting. When Chrysalis came close, the drone gave an upside-down bow as he stuck to the ceiling.
My queen, this one here is ready for harvest.
She landed next to the pod and waved him off with a flick of her hoof, and the drone did as he was ordered, leaving immediately. I came up behind her, steadily floating in the air. I could see the shape in the pod clearly now. It was a Pegasus, the blue light showing a huddled green form. Her hooves were pressed close to her chest. Her legs were half straightened beneath her. Now that I was close, I could pick out her emotions from the rest of the room. I tasted the sweetness of happiness, as well as the soothing blend of contentment.
She is having a pleasant dream,
was all I could think.
Eat!
Queen Chrysalis commanded me. I flew closer to the pod, touching it.
This is where love comes from. Who love comes from.
It was one thing to hear about what's going on, to see it yourself and to take a direct role in it.
For the survival of our species.
I let out a shaky breath and focused on the string of emotion. Immediately, the taste of emotion that lingered with each breath made themselves known. My mind cast out, and I felt the emotion stirring within the pods around us. Fear, hate, anger, sympathy, love, happiness. I focused on the Pegasus in front of me, her emotions making saliva pool within my mouth. Then, I pulled.
Baker, why don't we got you something as well? Don't ever let go.
The Pegasus twitched in her slumber as tendrils started to weave their way through the green slurry she was interred in. When the tendrils reached the hard exterior of the pod, they pushed out, the blue light coloring them a pastel purple.
An end to all our suffering.
I drew in a shaky breath, the wisps following the intake of air and made their way into my muzzle. I felt the familiar warmth embrace my whole body as my mind drifted. I let out a sigh of content and happiness as my worries melted away. I wobbled in the air as my balance was thrown off. A muted voice drew some of my attention back to the present. Chrysalis was speaking.
Deposit in a jar for distribution. But this harvest is all for you.
Chrysalis's words brought enough presence of mind for me to taste emotions once more. Close by, I tasted pain. The pony within the pot had stopped twitching. Her fur coloring seemed to be a bit faded, her breaths more shallow. For the survival of our species, I thought again, swallowing bile, a monument to all our sins. I somehow knew her dream was no longer weaving between clouds on a warm summer's day. She was dreaming of a winter's chill, a killer of the flower moon. A similar chill clutched my beating heart. This is the fate I promised to bring upon everyone outside of the hive. Is this how we will rule the world? Is there truly no other way? I don't. I can't believe this is the only way. My teeth silently clattered in my closed mouth as I felt my face go numb. I looked to Chrysalis. She was going on about the logistics of collection, how around 60% of the network was dedicated to collecting food and the very rare isolated individual. The vault holds the records of our entire species. If Chrysalis won't consider alternatives, then I must find them myself. I shall bring the end of Equestria as ordained. I will secure the survival of our species. But this will not continue any longer than it has to. These violent delights have violent ends. The chill would not leave my chest for hours.